Hi, my name's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. As I'm sure you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be 10 before the end of 2025. If you're not familiar with 10 before the end, it basically is a trend where you talk about the 10 books that you're planning to or trying to read before the end of the year. The 10 books that I'm going to talk to you about today are mostly books that I have been putting off for one reason or another. The majority of them I'm very excited to get to. These are not books that I've been putting off because I'm afraid that I'm not going to like them. They're books that I'm putting off because I've been saving them for a rainy day. I firmly believe that books are like a cute dress. You cannot save it for just a special occasion, because if that special occasion never comes, you'll never wear it. Books are the same. If you save them for a special occasion or a rainy day, you're never going to read them. So here I am putting it out into the universe that I'm going to read these 10 books that I have been saving for a special occasion. The first two books that are on my 10 before the end are books that I don't have physically because they haven't been released yet. Both of these books are coming out in November, and they are both my most anticipated releases for 2025. The first one is Brimstone by Kelly Hart. I read Quicksilver probably September 2024, so about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and truly loved that book. I'm not really going to say what it's about, just because there is so much that happens in that book. Basically, it's kind of like human girl ends up getting transported to a fae realm. It's got a really unique magic system. A lot happens. There's some tropes that a lot of people really love, and it is such an interesting story. From the beginning of the book to the end of the book, it is a completely different story. So much happens. You change your opinions on every single character. It is fantastic. When I initially read Quicksilver, it was before it was traditionally published, so Brimstone was supposed to come out in October 2024, and I feel like I have been waiting a lifetime for this book. Not to say I can't be patient. I definitely can. I am just absolutely thrilled for this, and I'm really looking forward to reading that book. My second book that I don't have that is on my 10 before the end is Fallen Stars by Amani Iro. Heavenly Bodies, perfection. Another book that I would consider almost perfection. I am not sure if this was just a case of right book, right time, but the scenery, oh, we've got a little guy. Got my cat Damien now. Just ignore him. He's a goof. I loved the Kingdom of Helios in that book. I thought the depictions of it were beautiful. The magic system was super interesting. And the relationship between the two main characters, while predictable, was just really beautiful. I loved their relationship. So, all around, a fantastic book. I think I have had Fallen Stars pre-ordered since I read Heavenly Bodies in January of this year. So, also really looking forward to that. On to the books that I have on my physical TBR. The very first one is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I know that in this one, it basically has diviner magic. I do really like to go into books blind, so I try not to learn too much about books before I read them, especially ones that I'm really excited to read. But from what I know, there's this diviner named Sybil. She's part of a group of diviners. I think that they tell the future by either dreaming or dying. Not really sure which. Basically, Sybil encounters this mysterious knight right before she's about to be released from her service as a diviner, and they investigate the disappearance or the murders of other diviners. It's an interesting premise. I do really love a mystery aspect in a fantasy romance. I know that this book is very well loved already. A lot of people have rated this very highly. The only reason I haven't picked this up yet Damien's being such a goof. The only reason that I haven't picked this one up yet is because I have been waiting for it to become available on Libby so that I can read it on my Kindle. Not that I'm not capable of just picking up this hardcover, I just prefer reading on my Kindle. I've been waiting for at least 6 weeks for this to become available at my library, and I think I'll continue waiting for probably at least another week or two, but I'm very excited for it. I enjoyed Rachel Gillig's other 2 books, One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, and I think that I'm going to enjoy this one even more. This one is on my 10 before the end really because it did just come out, but I don't want to wait to read it any longer than I really already have or than I have to, because it's such an exciting read for me. Book number 2, another new release. This is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This is going to be a romantasy novel that is about a goddess and a mortal. I believe they communicate through dreams and letters. Again, I don't know a ton about this one. I do know that it is set in the same world as Divine Rivals, and Divine Rivals made me sob, okay? The romance in that book was so touching to me that I cried through at least 25% of Divine Rivals. And not a cute single tear situation, full ugly crying, sobbing was happening as I read that book. I'm really hoping that I get a lot of the same yearning and romance and tension in this one, and I do believe that this will deliver. This one also is a standalone, which is really intriguing to me. I am sure that I'm going to have a good time, and this is one that I am positive that I'm going to get to before the end of 2025. So you'll probably see me reading this soon. For the next one, we've got A Court of Silver Flames. I'm not going to say what this is about. Obviously, this is an ACOTAR novel, just following a different sister. This follows Nesta, but we already all know that. I will say, I personally am a Throne of Glass girly. Throne of Glass has a special place in my heart, and I love that series probably more than I will ever love a book series ever again in my life. Unfortunately, ACOTAR does not hold a candle to Throne of Glass in my eyes, and I was expecting it to. That is not to say I didn't like it, or at least I didn't like the first 3 books. I did. I actually had a lot of fun with them, but then I got to A Court of Frost and Starlight. Not my favorite, okay? I did not have fun with that. I did not like that book very much, and because of that, I have been very hesitant to pick this up. It's not because I believe that this one will be bad in any way. I actually think that this will be my favorite out of all of them. I just am having a difficult time returning to the world after that book. Now it's time though. It's time for me to return. It's time for me to finish. I really think that this is gonna be a fantastic read for the end of the year. I'm really hoping that all of these actually are gonna be really good end of year reads, and I'm gonna breeze through these last 2 months of reading. I'm very excited to pick this up. I'm excited to dive back in, get over the issues that I had with A Court of Frost and Starlight. For my next book, I have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is a book that I've had on my physical TBR for actually quite some time now. This is one of those books that I just have been saving for a rainy day. I have this weird mindset where I always feel like I'm gonna run out of really great books to read, and so I'm hoarding these books that I think might be 5 stars for me to read later, just in case I've run out of really, really great books, which is insane. There are so many great books coming out all the time. So it's time for me to give up on that and read Six of Crows. Again, don't know much about this. That's going to be kind of a general theme for all of the books here. I know that it's about a heist. It follows a lot of different characters and there's a lot going on. I usually love books that have a lot of POVs, so I think this is going to be a lot of fun for me. And I will say that young adult fantasy and young adult fantasy romance gives me such cozy and nostalgic vibes because I used to read that genre exclusively when I was between the ages of like 14 to 17. That was all I read, and I would read all the time. It just really takes me back there, and I feel for these next 2 months during the holiday season, that is exactly what I want. Those are the exact vibes that I'm going to be going for. So, Six of Crows, I know it's a really popular one. I'm very excited to pick this up and see what all the hype is about. We've got An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This one I have not had on my physical TBR for as long. This is another young adult fantasy. I think that there's a smidge of romance in this one, but it's not romance focused. I've heard that this series rips people's hearts out. It's gonna probably be a very emotional read and very emotional few months of reading for me with all these books that I have on here, but I'm gonna be having a great time with it, hopefully. It sounds like Leia, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I will look it up after I finish filming this. But I guess Leia's brother is arrested for treason. She goes undercover as a slave to spy for a rebel group and meets Elias, who is a soldier. I know that this one's heavily political. Usually that is up my alley, so that does not intimidate me at all. But some of the videos that I've seen of people reading the last 2 books definitely intimidates me. Either way, I have been really looking forward to reading this. I've heard nothing but good things about this series, and I did actually purchase the entirety of the Ember Quartet already, as well as the special edition of the sequel, Air, which you can see right over there. So I'm committed, and it's time to read this series. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This is a book that I have recently purchased. However, this series has been on my radar for quite some time, given the fact that it is available for free on Kindle Unlimited. This is another one where I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've also heard that this series is for the Throne of Glass girlies, and I, like I said earlier, am the Throne of Glass girlies. I think that this series is going to be a really great time for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. In this book, DM's mother disappears. I believe DM goes to work as a healer for the king or the prince. It sounds like she's trying to solve the disappearance of her mother while trying to figure things out, and teams up with the prince of this world. It is a world where it seems like some people have magic and those people are in power. They're the higher class citizens, whereas the people who do not have magic are considered the lower class citizens, and so there's a divide there. I've heard that this one is a fairly political fantasy romance with a seriously slow burn, which is super up my alley. So another book that I really want to prioritize in these last couple months of 2025. Next up, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This one, it's an OG book. I don't know how I haven't read it yet. It's also been on my physical TBR for like a year and a half. This is a fae story. It's a human girl living in a fae realm. I don't really know what like the plot and the goal is of this book. I just know that she's trying her best to survive and fit in this fae court where the fae are kind of cruel and mean and they've got tails. I know that this is a hotly debated book on how good it is, okay? A lot of people say that it's really great, and a lot of people are unimpressed by it. I am unsure where I'm gonna land on that. I have heard that the people who love it for Jude, the main character. I usually love a strong female main character, a strong female lead. I think that if the draw of the book is the female main character herself, I will probably like it. I'm unsure where I'm going to land on this one, but I do have the whole series again, and I have had this whole series on my TBR for about a year and a half now. So it's really just time for me to read it, see what my thoughts are, and see where I'm going to go from there. And now for the only non-fantasy or fantasy romance book on this 10 Before the End list. We've got Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I know that this book is about a town, Beartown. I'm pretty sure if it's not called Beartown, that's going to be so embarrassing for me, but whatever. It is called Beartown, we're saved. So basically, this town lives for ice hockey. It is their main source of income, entertainment, everything. This town is all about ice hockey, and something happens that kind of tears the town apart a little bit. It causes a divide in the town. It is a traumatic thing. I don't know what it is. I have a suspicion about what it is, but I do not know what it is. I have heard this book is amazing and brutally emotional. I don't know how to feel about that. This is not a book that I've had for a long time, but I do have a whole shelf of literary fiction, and I haven't read a single one of them yet. So it's time for me to broaden my horizons, expand what I'm reading a little bit, and read some literary fiction. So that concludes the 10 books that I want to read before the end of 2025. I will say that this selection of books is so exciting for me. A lot of the books on my 10 Before the End list are potential 5-star reads, and these last 2 months of the year may end up being the best 2 reading months of the year for me because of this, which I think is great, you know, end the year on a high note. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!